Despite the fact that FeliciaHardy has been around for decades, I don't think the character has always gotten the characterization that she deserves. Thankfully, FeliciaHardy, also known as BlackCat, has just recently gotten some new ongoing series and mini-series over at Marvel that are able to really flesh out her backstory and role in the Marvel Universe. With Spider-Man currently ascending into the DarkWeb crossover, which sees Chasm and the Goblin Queen mount a demonic invasion of Limbo into the Earth, Marvel sees this as a prime opportunity to go ahead and launch a brand new title for BlackCat. My name is Oracle Braddock, and today let's go ahead and take a look at MaryJane and BlackCat #1. But before we get deeper into the video, I want to go ahead and encourage you to consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that like button if you enjoy our content. Next up, I want to introduce the solicitation text behind this new issue, as you can get caught up to speed to some of the events happening behind the scenes. From Jed MacKay and Vincenzo Carratu comes one of the most explosive and kick-ass adventures in Marvel memory. Set against the explosive backdrop of DarkWeb, MaryJane Watson and FeliciaHardy find themselves thrown into one another's plans and then into limbo. But something has changed with MJ, and she's not the only one keeping a secret. Felicia's got a guilty conscience, and it's playing havoc with their escape plan. And now I want to introduce the creative team behind MaryJane and BlackCat #1. This issue is written by Jed MacKay, illustrated by Vincenzo Karratu. We have colors from Brian Reber, letters from VC's Ariana Maher, and a cover illustrated by J. Scott Campbell that I actually want to go ahead and show off right now. Here's a look at the cover for MaryJane and BlackCat #1. Big thanks to Adventures in Poor Taste for posting these preview issues for the series so incredibly fast. And now let's take a look at the artwork from Vincenzo Karratu. It is absolutely beautiful throughout this issue. Karratu captures such candid facial expressions, from Felicia and Mary, just kind of throughout the comic book. There's such a great sense of motion throughout this issue, which is essential because, as we stated earlier, the invasion of Limbo onto the Earth is causing a lot of strange objects to kind of grow teeth and mount really kind of, strange and unusual forms. Over on this page, we can see what appears to be a blender growing some teeth up at the top, which is just a common way for the dimension of Limbo to interact with some of our normal everyday household items. And also the kind of backdrop behind this issue is really compelling too, because essentially BlackCat is taking her relationship with Peter Parker a little bit more seriously, but this comes right after she just told MaryJane that she wasn't looking to kind of pursue him very seriously. And this comes at a very strange time for MaryJane, because MaryJane has also attempted to move on from Spider-Man and is looking to kind of, be with a new family, and has actually even taken on the role of a mother. So Marvel is really pushing kind of the Spider-Man franchise in a much different direction lately. And I think this is a great kind of, symbolic gesture that change is underfoot over, with the Spider-Man characters. And I think that's really kind of where this issue, carries the greatest strength in some of its kind of emotional powers and emotional weight for the series. We're still really invested in MaryJane and BlackCat, no matter what happens with their current status quo. So just getting the opportunity to see these characters in a different context where there's a little bit more backstory makes them feel like they're real people. And it's not like it's just the plotting of the series that it extends to. Writer Jed MacKay takes time to make sure that all of this is weaved into the subtext of the issue. And plus, it's just so enthralling to kind of see these two have their own problems in the middle of the demonic invasion of Limbo. There are so many kind of little Easter eggs teasing, little things about Limbo, and also kind of teasing what, Chasm and Madeline Pryor are up to. Even despite the fact that this issue does feel a little disconnected from the greater event, I think it's still a really great way to kind of tie in some of these aspects together. And also, I think kind of the backdrop of DarkWeb ends up making this issue feel a little more, fun, a little bit more fresh than it would have felt otherwise. And lastly, we need to go ahead and talk about the extra story in here called The Mask of Dr. Doom. This one was written also by Jed MacKay, illustrated by Michael Dowling, colors from Brian Reber, and we had letters from VC's Ariana Maher. This story was such a classic Jed MacKay BlackCat story. I don't want to talk too much about the plot, but it's got such kind of a strong sense of humor, such kind of an interesting like heist story, and is able to really kind of get those more classic elements of BlackCat represented in this issue, despite the fact that, the main story has such tremendous change for the FeliciaHardy character. Also, Michael Dowling's art is just gorgeous in this backup story. I will say that some of the kind of settings and locations, they don't pack that much detail, but thankfully the kind of expressions, characters, everything that is on the page is really enthralling. And also, I think that Dowling just does such a great job working with Jed MacKay to find the most interesting way to tell the story with some of the framing in the issue. And that will just about go ahead and wrap up our review for MaryJane and BlackCat #1. This is a really solid issue that shows just how many things in the Spider-Man universe are changing. I'm so happy with the way Marvel is fleshing out FeliciaHardy, even though she did lose her ongoing series. I think this character is more three-dimensional than she has been since I've ever been reading comics. And also, just showing this kind of different side of MaryJane is really fantastic to see as well. I know that there are some Spider-Man readers that are really just kind of so frustrated with the franchise that, Spider-Man is no longer with MaryJane. But I think that this gives Marvel so much of an opportunity to say something different about these characters and flesh out these characters in a much different context. So I want to know from you, did you enjoy MaryJane and BlackCat #1 as much as I did? Did you enjoy the art and the writing? What about the backup story? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for checking out the video, and we'll be back very soon with more excellent comic book content. We'll see you soon. Bye.